Hi, you beautiful gems. How we doing out there tonight? Been loving, kind, caring one to another? I pray we are. Had a great day, beautiful day. I did. Had a beautiful day. I didn't do much of nothing, no, really. Just pretty much just took a shower and cooked. About all I done. Ate. But he wanted to come with a message, you beautiful gems. Say nothing at all. It's best when you say nothing at all. Sure. Well, he wants to touch down on that. Because when the Father comes, when He calls, I have to answer the call. When He says, well, someone out there needs this message. Somebody's listening for a frequency. They're listening for that sound. They're yearning for it. There's a message that He's got released tonight. And it's going to be talking about the trees. Because we're all a tree. And we all are branches. And so on that tree, we have a fruit. He's touched down on this before on my other TikTok, the one they took down. But so there's a fruit on that tree. Now, do we want that fruit to be sweet and juicy, so it's something we can cook with and eat with it, or do we want it rotten, stinking, nasty, something that would make us sick? You know, it's no good because he told me that a rotten tree, a rotten fruit, and that tree has to be dug up by the roots and cast into the depths of the sea. Never remember it again. But what he's talking about is that that he takes the old and turns you into a new. That's what he's speaking of. He takes that old fruit that you was at one time, because we all have been in the belly of the whale. We all have struck the rock even. And our rock has been struck more than one time. And what he does is he heals that heart. That rock had been struck, and that water was pouring out of that rock is the salt of the eyes, the pillar of salt that Lot's wife turned around and went back to her daughters, was the pillar of salt. So we've all did that. And you know what that does? It takes years off of our life. Spiritually, physically, mentally. What did we? I thought we was. Well, okay. I have to talk to the angels. They're putting different messages down in my spirit. Somebody must have needed that. Well, when we strike a rock, let me tell you, if you come to somebody lying, stealing, killing, and destroying, and doing things that we shouldn't be doing, feeding them lies, and being destructive, then you're hurting that person. You're stabbing that person in the heart. So you struck a rock. So there's years on your life that'll be struck. You'll be in poverty for a while until the Father sees that you've learned your lesson. You'll have to go through some things because that's judgment. See, we all go through judgment. We've all struck a rock. And so I think a lot of times when we go through poverty or judgment and things, because when we do things to people, we have to face the call. We have to face judgment on that thing that we did. And so it causes dismays in our life. So we have to go through things that's not so good, that we are not happy with. It causes sickness and poverty. It causes pain and suffering. Because whatever you did to that person, you struck that person's heart. You struck that rock and it made that person cry. That salt came out of their eyes, and there was a pillar of salt. Then tenfold's coming back to you. Now you're in the suffering. That whoever you made someone suffer. So now you have to do the suffering. So that was a rotten fruit you bared. I guess that's what he was wanting me to say. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said that was a rotten fruit that you bared. And now you have to reap it. Because we reap what we sow. So I would rather have a loving heart and reap good and give goodness and love, joy, peace, and happiness to someone than to strike a rock and cause that person to cry. Because when you cause someone to cry, you struck a rock. Now, the Father, that's why he says, don't do as they do, but do as he would. That's why he says, love thy enemy. Bless those that curses you. Love those that says all manner of ugly things about you. Bless them. Love them. Because if you do what they're doing, then you're going to reap a harvest that they're reaping. And that's an old rotten ugly fruit. They're no good. It makes you sick. It causes deceit. I won't even say the word because it's a curse. But it causes sickness upon your life. Causes condemnation. Causes it hurt. Causes you to cry. Because that's the pillar of salt. But if you was to love that soul that caused you shame or struck your jaw and struck this side of the jaw, and you don't strike back, striking a rock, you don't strike back in the way they did, then you're going to get back what you could put in. So saying like, well, you fed them instead of cursed them. You loved them instead of belittling them. You give to them instead of cursing them and throwing them in a ditch. You did the opposite than what they did to you. So therefore, you're going to get back tenfold better than what, because you did what was right. See, all these temptations that comes to us daily, if we would just listen and hearken unto the Father to do His will be done on earth. His will. My father and my mother, do what they ask you to do. And you'll be walking that straight and narrow path. But if you don't, you do the other, you do what your flesh wants you to do, then you're turning to the left or to the right. Then you've done fell in the ditch into condemnation. Now you're going to have to reap a harvest of a rotten fruit. And that's what he's been speaking on. So, I love you all, and I'm praying that helps you. But I'm praying that, too, you love your neighbor and have goodness to come out of your mouth so you'll reap goodness. You're going to reap the fruit that you're bearing. You're a tree, but you got some kind of fruit on that tree. Is it going to be a good, sweet fruit that you can cook with and be good to your taste? Or is it going to be a rotten fruit that you're going to have to pay poverty for or sickness? Love you all. Have a beautiful, blessed night.